Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Look, there's a lot we can grab from the rest of the Atlantic Coast Conference. I've got a couple, open things up here to the group as well. I'll go ahead and start with all politics is local. NC State over under 6.5, juiced under. Does 6-6 create some real consternation around NC State football?
This will be his 10th or 11th year or 12th.
12th, I think.
Yeah. Only Dabo has been at his position longer than Dave Doran.
Damn. So, he's only had 3 seasons with 6 wins or fewer. One of them was last year. One of them was his first year. So, I don't know. I do wonder if they finished 6-6, and you guys will have a better read on this, but I don't know if it'd be the school looking to fire him, but there could be maybe both sides would feel like they've run their course and it's time to move on.
Yeah, especially because of the order in which these 6 come, right? Your schedule starts out so easy. I mean, you're East Carolina, host Virginia, at Wake, at Duke. If you're an NC State fan, you're like, we better be 4-0 to start. Unless you think Duke's for real and has some, which maybe they will be. I don't know. But you're not, Wake's not an okay loss, I think, at this point in time if you're an NC State fan. But then down the stretch, if you let's say they do go 6-6,
a Wake team that, by the way, beat you last year, a Duke team that, by the way, beat you last year, both of those games at home. The tenor around y'all know NC State fans, they love their home games. They love Carter Finley Stadium. This NC State team let them down against Wake, Duke, and Syracuse with fourth quarter collapses.
It was wild. You probably start 4-1 and then finish 5-6 down the stretch, or maybe you start 3-2, and finish with 4 losses. That's tough. The final stretch here is you get Campbell, and then you're at the Irish, at Pitt, host Georgia Tech, at Miami, host FSU, host UNC.
Man, I'd be like, good luck going to find somebody better. I like Dave Doran a lot as a coach. I think he maximized the talent he's been given. But kind of like Tom said, I wonder if there's, some people, maybe both sides, just say this is getting a little stale.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Schottenheimer had a philosophy that he was only going to stay in one place for 10 years. It'd be a pretty good luxury to be like, yeah, I'm that good where I'm going to be in one place for 10 years. But kind of the messaging gets old, it gets stale. And that would be the only reason I would say that both sides be like, you know what? You're right. Change of scenery is kind of needed, kind of infuse some life into everything. But again, I would say good luck finding somebody better.
There's where is it? This was several years ago. He mentioned that he wouldn't mind retiring early and going off to work at a bait shop. That Dave Doran, who loves to fish, was like, I don't really need all this. I've been doing this a while. I've made some good money. And that quote was several years ago, and the college football world has changed. But it's echoed, as people start to talk about, Dave Doran's future and sort of what he would want out of this. He certainly seems very sort of grumpy and dissatisfied with a lot of the ways that the game is changing and sort of the position that he's put in. Some of that comes from just being, just being in that position for a while. He probably feels emboldened, like he doesn't owe anybody anything based on the success that he's had. But I think that this is a really important year for if Dave Doran wants to run, let's say 4 more years with the Wolfpack. You got to have CJ Bailey play well. You made a decision to move on from Robert Anae. You promote Kurt Roper. That offense has some real weapons. Defensively, they kind of lost their identity last year. How is that going to end up being shored up? Because I'm not sure that I've got the exact answers for that right now from a personnel standpoint. It's they are awaiting to announce their next men's basketball coach. Everybody's getting all hot and bothered. Maybe they do end up looking to make a change at football too. But it's going under this win total, I think, would at least bring up a lot of the conversations that started to get a little bit noisy before he beat North Carolina in the finale. All right, open table. Where we want to go?
I think. Well, I want to ask you. Like, there's no hot seat for Bill Belichick, but if they go 7-5,
Hold on, sorry. Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick, girlfriend, Bill Belichick, spring
Beach.
break, girlfriend, pose. Okay, go.
Wait, did you say pose or?
Pose.
I'm sure. He said
Oh, okay. I thought you said something else.
My wife and I were gonna reenact. We were at the beach, and I showed her. I was like, "We need to reenact these photos."
Do it.
And then we figured out we probably couldn't do it successfully. So,
Well, I mean, shout out to his leg strength.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, to get that photo shot, you got to hold that position for a while.
Who took
Yeah.
the photo?
It looked like a selfie setup. Like, she's good at social media, I think. Like,
She's
That's
got a
why she's
tripod.
running it for
He
him.
definitely keeps a tripod in the beach.
Yeah.
towel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you also got to make sure like you're on the right incline of the beach. Like that. That's some
every
smart
angle
scouting.
was great. Like, there was good angles.
How many
Yeah.
takes
Agreed.
did it take? Like, they messed up once.
No, you set the timer and it goes flash, 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 flash. She picked the best one.
Can you imagine this photo shoot? Gosh, I would love to be like a fly on the wall just to see, because I know, like, with my wife, like, we were in the Keys and like, let's get a picture. Oh, and then you have to get the different lighting or the different angles. Like, how many different takes did it take? Was he like, sure, hun, whatever? Was he getting annoyed? Like, because it's hard to envision him not getting annoyed.
There has
But-
to be like an incredible commercial opportunity for her taking him shopping in like when he looks homeless, and then like she's actually like buying him some new clothes from like whether it's Kohl's or menswear, whoever wants to sponsor it. Like, I mean that thing would do numbers.
She made the
Right?
Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
He made the
I mean,
super-
we're
That's
all
not a
Actually,
soft
Ben
launch.
Affleck made the
that's
Super
kind of a
Bowl
hard
ad.
launch.
No, but she
Yeah.
made the cut
I
for
know.
a Dunkin' Super Bowl ad. That's we could absolutely land some Kohl's cash here here for Bill Belichick. Yeah, so
Affleck.
North Carolina, this is what's interesting. North Carolina's win total is 7.5, which is probably fair for the team and probably not fair for the salary that you're paying your head coach.
I mean, here's the thing: if they go over, is he still at North Carolina the year after? Like, is it better for North Carolina that he goes under or over? Because if he goes over, NFL team might come sniffing around.
I've become less inclined to think that the NFL is frothing at the mouth for more Bill Belichick. And the more that this has become a circus, the less inclined an owner might be to bring the circus to town.
I don't know.
The Giants did let Daboll go one more year with Joe Shane. It falls off the rails. You can see a clean house.
Got some history there. May have won a Super Bowl. I don't know. Hates the Jets. I don't know, Chip.
What do y'all think? So,
He's not.
The only thing I think that could happen is he goes like I agree with Tom. If he goes over, I think that's the only thing you're nervous about. Even if it falls off the rails, go 4-8. I think it's an adaptation year. He's getting used to the college game. They'll address it. They're still getting the roster straightened out. There'll be people that are upset again with that $10 million. That's way short of it, but nobody's parting way. Do you think that he would say this isn't for me? His legacy, he's not going out like that.
no. And the way that his megaphone, David Lombardi, who, like, y'all remember when
Michael Lombardi?
Michael Lombardi, yeah, not David. David Lombardi's
They all look alike to you, don't they, Chip?
all those Lombardis, yeah. Now, David Lombardi's a old Pac-12 reporter, right? Like, he covered Stanford, and now
I believe so. Yeah.
West Coast.
Mhm.
So Michael Lombardi, the way that he has talked about the roster construction certainly indicates that the guys they are targeting now are going to be the grunt guys, and then next year they go out to like add some talent. So they are looking for the Holy Cross center. They are looking for the former lacrosse player. They are looking for like culture tone setters from Navy to be able to come in. And then that is a 3-year plan. That is not a plan of like, we're going to win 10 games next year. So I'm going to take their lead and I'm going to say it's more of a 3-year plan.
You hear that, kids? If North Carolina wants you right now, they don't think you're that good.
If they want you for the 2025 season.
You're a body. You're filling a hole.
Yeah,
They'll get the real players next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going after a couple blue chips in 26. But yeah, no, 25. You're just you're out there to do the hard work to lay the foundation for
Two hots and a cot for you.
Yeah. But you mentioned Brent Pry, Tony Elliott. Oh, these are low win totals, man. It's kind of sad.
I mean, like I thought David Hale on Twitter today had an excellent point about just like how cakewalk of a schedule UVA has, and I obviously like you had to tread lightly because of the shooting that they had there when Tony took over. Like that's an extremely hard situation to deal with. But I do think if you don't make a bowl game this year, that may be the end of the line there. I mean, their non-con is Coastal, William and Mary, and Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no Clemson on the schedule, no Miami on the schedule, no SMU on the schedule. So, yeah, if you don't make a bowl, I think that's probably all she wrote on the Tony Elliott experience there. If I had to guess. Brent Pry, on the other hand, I mean, 6.5 juice under. They kept a lot of their guys last year. It didn't work. Had some coaching changes now. They lost some people that other schools are real happy to have now. Like if Vegas is right, you go 6-6. Does he get another year? And if so, why? Is it the buyout? Like, did they give him one of those crazy extensions for no reason?
Does the hire of Philip Montgomery inspire you?
No,
not really. Given how long that took for both coordinator searches, I would say no.
Because Virginia Tech will be like, hey, remember Robert Griffin? Remember Bryce Petty? Remember Case Keenum? That's what Kyron Drones can do. I mean, we are reaching way back into the Wayback Machine to try to put the pieces together when the game of football has changed in a lot of ways. And Kyron Drones does have a very, very high ceiling. It's Tom's boy right there.
He is.
But it's going to be really, really tough for Virginia Tech to be able to take a big step forward. Can they go over this total? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that if they go under, then yeah, a coaching change is probably in place because this is a group that should have won more games last year. And that's not just because the officiating super center all had on orange Hialeah shirts as they were looking at the end of Miami, Virginia Tech. I mean, it is because they could not close. There was some coaching mismanagement, in my opinion, which is going to inspire maybe why you go and make that change. But Hokies should have been a win, if not win and a half or 2 wins better than they were last year.
Patrick in the chat does bring an interesting point. And the buyout here is only $7 million for Pry, which is pretty doable for almost any Power 4 school, I think. But Patrick says, Pry is not in any danger until the university president resigns. The AD won't fire him. The president doesn't want to hire a new AD. And this would be Babcock, the AD there, his third football hire, which typically you don't get to make. So maybe that saves them if they go 6-6. But it'd be better just to go 7-5.
Does anybody know who is competing for the starting quarterback at Virginia?
It's not Anthony Calandria.
Yes, it's
shoot, not Musket still there?
No. No, it's North Texas kid.
Yeah. Ding,
Yeah,
ding,
okay.
ding, 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 ding.
Chandler Morris?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. Fourth school, Chandler Morris.
I knew it was something.
Wow.
Yeah, this will be
He actually played pretty good at North Texas until the Army game when he had a couple picks that cost me a bet this past season.
This will be his fourth school in
Comrade
5
Kanell.
years. He started at Oklahoma, spent 3 seasons at TCU, was the starter at North Texas, as you just mentioned. He threw 31 touchdowns, 3,700 yards. He is likely going to be the starter. He is being pushed by Nebraska transfer Daniel Kalen, who was a third stringer last year for the Cornhuskers, but never played and redshirted. So, Chandler Morris. This is not the conference of quarterbacks. Like at media days, they're going to trot out all this awesome list, but going through and looking at the quarterbacks in the Atlantic Coast Conference does have a lot of where he's still in the league. kind of moments, for a lot of these guys.
I have one more ACC coach. Like, I think Wilcox is safe at Cal, although who knows? I think Taylor would probably be safe at Stanford just because I think those two schools would get some leeway because of the move to the ACC. But Pitt's win totals at 5.5. If the Panthers go 5-7, is Narduzzi in any kind of trouble? Because this is kind of not that dissimilar to the Doran situation where he's been there for a long time, but the last couple of years, things have not really lived up to the expectation. Like they were ranked at a time last season, then they finished 7-6. They went 3-9 the year before. If they go 5-7 after 7-6 and 3-9, I do wonder if there'd be some rumbling.
Bud, Bud's the buyout king here, but I've heard that this might be a prohibitive financial situation for our guy Pat Narduzzi, or a great financial situation if we're friends with Pat Narduzzi and excited for his future.
Yeah, I don't have this written down because it's not public, but I think that Pete Thamel dropped the nugget one time that and I was like, wait, what? It's like
excess
that
of
much?
30.
So I just remember being like, oh, he's not going anywhere for a long while.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they
Corey
did
said,
after that ACC contract. I mean, not ACC contract, ACC championship with Kenny Pickett was not that long ago. He probably got,
I want to point this out.
It's Pitt. I think Narduzzi is a good coach, man. Like, I don't think they have like real. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this as far as resources wise, but it's Pitt.
Also, too, with the rev share, do they start? Do people say, let's give them another year to see if this starts parity, starts leveling out?
I mean,
You're all very much missing the point here.
What, the volleyball arena?
Yeah. Florida State and Clemson just sued the league because these damn schools aren't spending money on football, but Pitt's spending $300 million on a volleyball arena?
Oh, they're perennial contenders. Final Four last couple years.
Like, what is going to be in this arena? Like, all you need is a court and a net and like 2,000 seats.
SEC Network last night. I was watching on TV. They were showing like track, and I know that's like low cost to produce, but also I'm like, man, nobody's watching this, right? Like at some point when these go club, I don't know.
They were counter-programming True TV, all right, because they knew all of America was watching True TV. And by the way, I found out last night, True TV's got Eastbound and Down. You know how awesome that was to go from the end of the first four to the pilot of
Kenny
Eastbound
Powers
and
on
Down?
a jet ski.
True TV has some bangers. Like when you're doing like work travel, like you go in the hotel. If you don't like do the Netflix login, you just flip it on. It's almost one like the first kind of scroll ups in like the Marriott list. Like oh, heck, which forensic files is this? You kind of play the game. It's like how long can you watch this before you remember what it was and you change,